Hey everyone, Pot SM, welcome to part 2 of our 125th AMT Super B video build. So back, part 2, we're going to crack on today, start off where we left off last time. As I said before, these videos now are going to be more continuously filmed, I think. So rather than me stopping at stages to get a video, I used to work through, get it clear coated, stop, edit the video, upload it. Now I just carry on through to all the footage is done and edited as one job lot. That's what I've been doing lately. I've even mixed bits around and moved things around so it's not the same process all the time. So see what you think of that. Like I say, we normally get the clear cut in the first video. I move things around and put it in this one, even though it was done in the last one, if that makes sense. I've moved things around, try to make it a bit more interesting, a little bit less more mundane, a little bit less more mundane, a little bit less mundane for you. So let's crack on where we left off last time. We've got it painted and we're going to start masking for our chrome work around the windows. Right, part 2, and we are starting up where we left off last time. We've got some windows to mask up for our chrome work. So we painted all our paint last time. That's dried absolutely fantastic. The Pro Scale paint's drying super quick. Colour looks absolutely awesome. Just look at that green. Absolutely beautiful. And we're going to mask all around the windows where needed with some Tamiya 1, 2, 3, and 6, 10, and 18 to infill the rest of it. So it's quite a lot to mask on this. We've got the marker lights on the back. We've got the wheel arches all around the front, side, and rear windscreens. So quite a lot to do. So take your time. Make sure you de-tack your tape. Very important step to do. I know it looks like a massive tape, but in reality, that's what it is. No easy way to do this one. No infilling with cling film, really. So just bit the bullet and use the tape. But please, 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 de-tack your tape. If not, you run the risk of pulling your paint off. Now, we're going with Mr. Hobby Super Metallic Chrome today. It's thinned with Mr. Hobby Rapid Thinner, about 50%. We're going through our Revolution 0.3, CR3. We're at about 16, 18 PSI. And just put a couple of coats down, light coats, building it up slowly, till we get a nice chrome finish. Now you can do this afterwards on top of your clear coat, but I find it's not as resilient. It tends to rub off with your fingers if you're not careful. Put it under the 2K has no detrimental effect really on this. So yeah, no problems doing that. And like I say, just a couple of coats, getting all those recesses and angles. Just make sure you get everywhere covered up and you don't get any chrome paint where you don't want it. At this stage, you can get paint off by gently sanding. So if you're getting the overspray, you can deal with it, but obviously the cleaner you are now, the less work you've got to do, and there's nothing worse than fixing problems that you could have avoided in the first place. So like I say, if you like coats, we get a nice chrome finish on the paint. With that unmasked, we've got a beautiful, perfect chrome paint job. It's been left to dry overnight, and we're here today with some decals. These are the kit AMT decals, and these went down with no problem whatsoever. This back one's a little bit tricky to line up. We need to mark it. Line up around the marker light on the back. Make sure it's straight on the top and the bottom, like so. So it takes a little bit of fettling to get it perfect. And then we've got a front piece to put in along the front part of that wheel arch too. It's a case of just moving it around nice and gentle. Keep the decal nice and moist. I wouldn't go to decal solutions just yet. I just use plain water. And as you can see, the end of this is folded over ever so slightly. So we just need to keep picking at it until we get it. Patience, take your time. Everything is savable. There we go. And then once you've got it, there's a little crease there you can see. We can just try and drag it away with our fingers. If that doesn't work, pick the end of the decal up with your tweezers. As you see, I've got it wet again. Sometimes if you wet it, you can push it down. Other times it's not going to work. And you're going to have to bite the bullet and get your tweezers. Gently pick up the edge of the decal. Just pull it till that crease goes. And then gently lay it down where you need it, like so. So standard decal procedure, get it down, get it in place, get all the excess moisture out from behind gently with a cotton bud. But before you do this, make sure you got it exactly where you want it. You're following the right line, it meets the right point. Any areas it needs to go around, like that rear marker light, are all done as well. And just gently rub it until you get all the moisture out. And like I say, there's an awkward little piece just in front of the wheel arch. Excuse me. And again, this one was a bit more tricky to line up because there wasn't a natural line to follow. So I kind of did it by eye till I was happy. Once it's all in place, we've got some UMP Ultimate Decal Solution in with the normal to begin with. Hit it up, let that settle while we do the other side as well. Make sure you don't touch the other decals with your fingers because it will destroy them. So we'll get this one in place. We'll let the decal solution do its job. Exactly the same process on this side. Use the same lines to get it lined up. There's a little emblem on the bonnet as well. So we just pop that in place with our decal solutions. We're onto the UMP Strong now. Hitting these to get them in place. And there we go. All done. Decals laid down. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely love the colour of this car. This Pro Scale Green with Envy looks absolutely phenomenal. Really suits this style of car. And the black decals just look excellent down the side of it. Looks really, really good. Very happy with that. So we've got some Tamiya Tamiya black panel line wash here now. We're going to mix it with a touch of grey. And then add a little bit of Santa just to thin it a touch. And this is going to be our panel line wash. It's enamel-based wash, which we're applying over a lacquer-based finish. So no reactions at all. We can wipe it back off with no issue. Like I say, we want a nice dark grey wash. I think black would be too stark, grey would be too light. So if we do a dark grey wash, it'll be perfect. It looks very dark on camera, and it is. It is a very, very dark grey, but it will dry a touch lighter because we don't want a massive stark contrast between the body panels and the panel lines. And it's a case of just touching it, let the capillary reaction flow it around the panel lines until you're happy and it's all full. Simple job, really. Makes a big difference in my opinion, well worth doing. And on things like these vents in front of the windows, it adds a lot of depth very easily and quickly to parts. Just fill it with the panel line wash, let it dry, wipe off the excess, and it does that job for you. You could mask up and paint that if you want, but the panel line wash will do that job perfectly for you anyway. So like I said, it's an enamel-based wash. Takes about 20-30 minutes to dry, depending on how thick you put it on. So in like these vents here, I'm putting quite a lot in, so it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. On the door panels, they take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but depending on how warm it is, and you can wipe off the excess with cotton buds with a bit of Sansador, odorless mineral spirits, or your own odorless mineral spirits, or mineral spirits of your choice. Like I said, we go all around the boot lid, the trunk, wherever you want to call it, all around the side of the car. Basically, if it holds a wash, it gets a wash. And we just work our way around the car until we're happy everywhere is done. Like I say, for me, I think it's a very important step. I think it adds a lot of depth to the car. And yeah, a little bit of time taken, it's good. So we've got a cotton bud moistened with a little bit of Sansador from Winsor & Newton. This is an enamel mineral odorless spirit. And we can just go around and remove all the wash with that, and then some kitchen paper afterwards. Marker lights, we're going to brush paint. We've got some we have to remember now. I think it's 25, 26 or 26, 27 clear red, clear orange from the Tamiya acrylic range. So alcohol-based acrylics. We've got a Winsor & Newton 00 brush. I'm just going to very carefully paint these marker lights in. You can be remarkably neat if you're careful. And if not, again, we're putting alcohol-based acrylic over a lacquer. So we can just wipe it off with our cotton bud should we wish. Same on the back. Very carefully paint it. If you load the brush up, it will kind of flood into that recess and fill it near enough perfectly. And there we go, job done. So we're in the spray booth. We're going to do our 2K now. Like I say, we're a little bit out of order than normal. I've just literally gone with the way I was working with the kit. We're going to wet all the tissue in the spray booth. Got our spray gun with water in. That way if any nasties land on the tissue, they should stick to it and not flow back up into our clear coat. We've got the Pro Scale 2K clear coat here. I'm mixing about 6ml of clear to 3ml of activator. And then we're going to pop in 0.45ml of thinner. So 6ml of clear. This is a 3ml of hardener. We're using separate pipettes for everything. Measuring it all as perfectly as we possibly can. Once the activator's in with the clear, give it a really good stir up until you're happy that it's mixed. Then we're going to throw the pipette away and never use it again. Don't introduce this into any of the bottles. You'll contaminate the bottles and ruin your clear coat. But we're just going to make sure that's totally remixed. And then with the thinner, we want 0.45. So it's 5% thinner of the total mix. So if you've got 9ml of clear and hardener, then it's 0.45ml of thinner. It's simple to work out. Just get your head around it and you'll get used to it. Trust me, it's pretty easy to do. Mix that thinner activator and clear mixture together properly. And then I like to strain it through a 190 paint strainer. And there we go. We're ready to go. We've got our Tamiya anti-static brush. Airbrush is loaded with 2K ready to go. I've got my plastic case next to me there to the left, which is all nice and clean. The boots on. I've got my full face respirator on. I've got my left arm covered. I'm double gloved. We are ready to rock and roll. But making sure they're securely mounted after the farce with the Lamborghini. And it is. It's taped to the stand. Excuse my cough today. And we're going to apply a semi-wet first coat. So not going for a full wet coat, just going for that semi-gloss first coat. And we're just going to work our way around the car body until we get a nice, even, semi-gloss clear coat all over it. So this is my 0.5 Iwata CR Revolution. This is the airbrush I solely use for my 2K. We're at about 24, 25 PSI with the Sparmax 610 compressor. And like I say, we're just going to do nice, slow passes, building the 2K up as we go. Very important, have your air booth on, have a good spray booth, have a good respirator, double glove, don't let this stuff get in your skin. And that's it. Just going to work our way around till we get a nice, even coat everywhere. So, it takes a bit of practice to do. You'll get better and better the more that you do this. But I think it's a skill well worth using. I don't think there's anything better than 2K. Obviously, it's up to you if you think it's too thick. I don't think our 2K is too thick at all. Once it's flatted back and polished, it looks brilliant, I think. But obviously, that's subjective. And use the clear coat you're happy with. But for me, nothing is better out of the gun than 2K. And nothing gives a better, tougher, harder finish than this at the end. So it takes a bit of work, but it's nice and simple to do. I'm just going to show you this entire first coat, and then we'll speed up the other coats going forward. But like I say, ours is very forgiving, works really, really well. You can put it down a lot thicker than you think. And there we go. With that done, just having a quick look. I think what I actually did there, I actually knocked the back end of that car on the box, putting it in. And I'm just looking for a little bit of damage. There was none there. There's a tiny little mark in the 2K. So I've just put a little bit more 2K on, just to make sure it was okay. And then pop it in and slide it down the back of the plastic box. I'm going to get the bonnet out in a second. I'm obviously checking it again. A bit paranoid. I think after dropping the Lamborghini, I'm definitely a bit paranoid. But there we go. We are fine. Back in we go. And like I said, we're going to get the bonnet out and do exactly the same to the bonnet. A nice semi-gloss clear coat. And our under tray. So this is the pain with the kit. I never understand this part. It never fits properly. It never looks great, but it's just one of those things. There's no other way of putting it in because everything else gets in the way when you're putting the chassis in. But it's like an afterthought of the kit. It's just really not very good at all. Obviously, the bonnet that we cut out as well. Exactly the same treatment that the body got. We give it a wipe over the Tamiya anti-static brush. And then we give it a nice semi-gloss coat of the 2K. Like I say, really easy to use. Be careful on smaller parts. It's very easy to flood them just due to the size of them. And don't forget your edges as well. And there we go. Nice and simple. That can go back in the booth for 5 minutes while it off gases. And we can come back and do coat number 2. So there we go, just a quick look to see how we're doing. Yeah, the bonnet looks good. Not bad at all. 5-minute flash off. I think 3 to 5 minutes is our recommended time. I always leave it 5. Just make sure it goes nice and tacky. You want that tackiness because that's what stops the paint running. If you do get any runs, it reduces the risk in that massively. Do the under tray panel as well. Like I say, it's a tricky one, this. It really is. And just be careful you don't drop these bits. Been there, done that. We don't want to do it again. What I'll do is I'll get the body out, put those to the back of the box, and then reverse it next time we put our third coat on. Right then, as we're putting our second coat on the body, I'm going to speed this up, put a bit of music on. And like I say, we're going to go around and try and get our full wet coat on. Probably not going to be perfect, but we'll get it as near as damn it on this coat as we can. there we go, coming to the end of our second coat. We've got a nice gloss finish all over it. It's not perfect, but I don't expect it to be. So what we'll do now is we'll pop that back in the box for 60 seconds or so. Bring it back out 60 seconds or so. Have a look. If you can see any orange peel and imperfections, we go over it again with a little bit more 2K. Then we put it back in the box for another 60 seconds, take it back out and have a look again. Now, what that does is allows the paint to settle. It is self-leveling 2K. And in the 60 seconds, it'll flatten out and hopefully any orange peel or imperfections will self-level out. If it doesn't, it needs a little bit more 2K. And this is where I stress people to push this a little bit further than you think. How you see this is how it will dry. If it dries with imperfections, or if you leave it with imperfections now, that's how they're going to appear. And then you've got to polish it all out. It takes a lot more work. Whereas if you get rid of it now, you've just got to flat it back and polish it up. It's so much easier. So just put thin coats on. Don't go mad. And then pop it back in the box. Don't be afraid to pop it back in. And pop it back out to put another coat on if needed. Same with the bonnet as well. Just take it out, put a light coat over, pop back in for 60 seconds, and then take it back out and have a look. Easier to spray the smaller parts too much, so just take your time with these. Don't put too much on. Keep everything as flat as possible, especially on the bonnet and the body shell. Hard to do with the body shell because you have side panels, obviously. But on the bonnet, keep it upright and just take your time. And there we go. After we let it sit for another couple of minutes, we get it out for one last stop before we clean the airbrush. And just inspecting it using the light. Not a single imperfections in the clear. 2 bits of dust, one on the door, one on the boot lid. We will deal with those later on. But overall, pretty good. And again, the bonnet, really good, as is the under panel too. So great 2K job there. And on this one, we didn't drop it. Well done, Paul. Pat on the back. Well done. There we go. Clear up the airbrushes, and we get back to the modelling. So the wheels, I opted to leave these in the kit chrome. We're going to semi-gloss coat them later. But for now, I'm going to pop in a black Tamiya panel line wash in there. And we'll just pop it in, let it dry for 20-30 minutes, and then wipe it out with some Santador again. And then we're going to semi-gloss them later on with some Mr. Hobby decanted clear coat. And these look really good when done. I'm quite impressed how well these look. It's a tip I picked up from elsewhere a while back about matte or semi-glossing wheels and what have you. And it does work well. The chrome on these wheels is very good, but it's a little bit too unrealistic. Now we've got our painted engine. We've got our HT leads from Gopher, which we bought a while back. I spent about 50 quid. Bought about 6 or 7 of them, all different colours. So might as well use one on this. They're not the best, but they're certainly better than my attempt on the kit ones. So we drilled out a distributor earlier on, and we're going to drill out the plug lead holes now on the engine block itself. Now, whether we got these exactly right, I don't know. I was going on reference that I could see and advice from my buddy Joe, who seems to know what he's talking about, don't you, Joe? Yes, Joe's nodding his head right now going, yes, buddy, I do. So hopefully this is in the right spot, and we're going to go around and drill all those out, 8 in total. Now, I should have done these beforehand, but it is what it is. The alternator, I'm going to put the distributor, we're going to paint in a mixture of Hull Red and a brown colour to get a nice dark brownish colour that looked semi like a distributor colour. While we're letting everything dry and what have you over there, we'll wipe off the excess wash on the wheels, and then we're going to separate all our leads on our distributor as well. No, it's not going to be in firing order. Sorry, I don't do that. Life's too short. This car's not going to start, no matter how well the firing order is. The kit comes with some heat shrink that we're going to use for the boots on the end of the leads for the spark plugs. So we're just going to cut these to roughly the same length all over. I'm going to pop them on all the leads now before we cut them. So just going to pop them on and slide them all the way down out of the way. That way we can cut it without hindrance and trying to fight these later on. And I'm going to pop our distributor in the hole we drilled beforehand. A little bit tight, as you can see. I'm just checking it's going in with no bother. Make sure I've got the right way round where I want it, and then just push it in. No glue needed. It's a nice snug fit, and we can get to work wiring up the lead. So like I say, no, not in firing order. I've just cut these roughly to length, leave me plenty in. The engine's hollow, so you can just shove them through. Put a little bit of dab of glue on there, a little bit of CA glue once you're happy. And then we can pull the bit of heat shrink down, bend it into shape, get all the CA glue to hold everything at once. And there we go. There's one lead done, like I see. Get it all lined up, a little dab of glue. Just get it on the end of the heat shrink and the wire together. That way we can push it fully home. Like so, there we are. And then we repeat that for all the other 8. There we go. There's one side done. Just trying to keep them as neat as possible. So we're just trimming them as close as possible and then shoving the rest of it in the engine. The engine is hollow, like I say. Got my wonderful wire cutters from Andy Callis, all the way from Florida many moons ago. They are my go-to wire cutters. They are fantastic. And we'll pop it in there. There we go. Say a little dab of glue. This is Bob Smith's Gold, so it gives you plenty of working time. We can get that in place. It's fiddly at times, but take your time. You'll get it in. I think it's always worthwhile in an engine. I've not done it to every American car I've built, but if you can do it, do it. It does add a bit of detail. It does look good, even though it's riding the wrong order, and somebody probably will tell me. It is what it is. There we go. Yep, happy with that. Repeat that for the other side. And there we go. That looks good. The yellow and orange looks good. Happy with that. We've got our starter motor, so we put a little dab of CA glue where it's located. And we can just pop it in place. Like so. Let the CA glue do its job. And then we've got the inlet manifold and its top piece. I'm not pretend to know what it's called. I did know. It's like a forced induction thing, isn't it? I forget what it is now. I forget now. You're all shouting at me. I can hear you. That's glued in place as well. And the gearbox glued in place as well. So the engine's not too bad on this. I've seen worse. I've seen better. But it's actually not bad. It goes together quite well. Doesn't look too bad. Get the dry pulleys on and the auxiliary belts and the fan. All in place as well, like so. And then we can get our carbs in place. The carbs aren't very good on this. They're a bit cheap and nasty looking. But it is what it is. It is what it is. If it was going to improve anything, it could be these because they're highly visible through the hood. The bonnet, if you're British or English. Chateauneuf de Pape or even French. Yes, bonnet de douche. Straighten them up, yeah, get them all nice and straight. They are handed, they go one particular way, and then we've got our intake trumpets go on top. Now, these have been sprayed with Rebel Chrome out of the rattle can. I decanted some and sprayed it. I can't remember if I did that in the last video. I'm going to do it in this one. I've completely forgotten. But anyway, they're in there. We'll explain that later on as we go. And we're going to give it a panel line wash all over with some Tamiya black panel line wash. Usual principle, if it holds a wash, give it one, and then we'll wipe all the excess off later on and hopefully leave a bit of a weathered engine. Just adds a little bit of depth to it. We're not adding a huge amount of wash to it. We'll just literally put a little bit anywhere it'll hold it. Just adds a bit of life and a bit of depth, especially metallic parts, really brings them alive. So it's a task well worth doing. As you'll see here in a minute, we'll put it on top. Procrastinating there, probably chatting to you a lot in chat on the morning live streams. There we go. So we've got the bulkhead, firewall, we've got the side inner arches there as well. I did try and assemble them on the car, but they were having none of it at all. Just too fiddly, kept falling off. So I opted to put the side pieces in. I'm a little bit off camera. Sometimes the build takes precedence over the filming. There we go. Now we're back in camera shot. I zoomed in a bit. So we get those in place instead. And then we're going to pop that in place over the top. So I did try putting the bulkhead on first and then putting the inner arches on, but it just didn't work at all. So I opted to go this way this time, and it worked much, much better. There we go. Just line everything up, and then we get some CA glue, a little bit of kicker to hold her in place. Engine, we've got a cotton bud there, wipe off all the excess of the wash we put down earlier. It just gives us a nice weathered look without looking absolutely battered. I don't like the weathered look on my cars. I like them to look as if they were brand spanking new, fresh out the factory or freshly restored. Manifolds on this, a little bit of a letdown, so I threw the engine in frustration. Not the best fitting manifolds, there's no real positive connection point. So once we're happy, we've got my cheap Amazon CA glue. This isn't Bob Smith, this is almost instant setting glue. Very, very good. You can find this on my Amazon store, link down below. It's cheap, it's like £6 for 2 bottles. Lasts ages, works really well. Combine that with those precision nozzle tips from Amazon as well. They're again linked to my Amazon store in the description below. Great combination, very useful glue. Like I say, hold it for a few seconds, and there we go. That's them in place. Repeat for the other side. And there we go, there's our engine, looking good. Quick spray of the kicker. And we're going to insert it in. Now this should have gone in before a lot of the bits went in apparently, but we got it in. Like so. Line it up, get it in place. Pop her in. The exhaust I found there's a little bit that just catching on what would be the steering rack, I think, or the steering column. So I'm just going to get some tweezers and move that out of the way gently. Hoping about knocking parts off. Easier said than done sometimes. It can be very fiddly getting the engines in. But we're just going to move that exhaust over. There we go. And that's that in place. We'll put a couple of dabs on the engine mounting point and the gearbox mounting point and get those glued in place as well. And there we go. We're going to leave us there today. We'll be back for part 3 very, very soon. It's all filmed. It's all ready to go. And just giving a bit of space on Patron before I release the full video. But it's come along well. We've got the bulk of the work done. We're back in part 3 to polish up the body, get the rest of the running gear in place, and get this beautiful build finished. Right, there we are. That's where we're at today with it. Good progress. Literally, we've got assembly left to do. There's a few parts left to paint. They are actually already done. I just haven't shown it in this video. I know it sounds really weird, but because of me altering the stage of the video around, in my mind it's already done at this stage, but I haven't shown you it being done this. We've got the interior to do, we've got the chrome work to do with the chrome Revel spray can, which is actually really good stuff. I'm going to clear coat. Well, I think we did that in part 1, didn't we? I think we clear coated it with aquagloss to seal it. I'm pretty sure we did. We're going to get all built up, finished, and we'll have a chat about the finished build at the end. But that's it. That was where we are today. Thank you for your continued support. Your names are flashing on screen right now if you're a patron. It goes right through me, unfortunately. It's like I've been possessed. But it's the only way I can do the names on screen. There's no, I can't have it to one side. So unless I sit over here or over there and get out of the way, you're going through me. So it is what it is. You've been through me. Didn't sound right, but anyway. Thank you for your continued support. You're absolute legends. I've got more plans coming up for Patreon as we go. And of course, Friday is our weekly bench update again. So I'll be back on Friday to have another chat. Will I get another video of this up before then? Possibly. They're all filmed. I'm just pasting them out for you. I've got the third part of this to go out and the shortened video that will go on RSM with the entire build to do as well. So they still need voiceover and intros and what have you, but we'll get them going as well. Reviews, I'm going to review... what should I review next? I think I fancy doing the truck, and I need to do another Alpha Models kit, and that Kitbox Porsche, I believe, is on its way to me as well. So really interesting to see that. So we'll see. I will get a review done one day this week, maybe on Friday. I'll get the bench update done and then do a review for you as well. But there we go. Thanks for your continued support. Please leave any comments down below. Love to hear all your feedback. Don't forget it's on you patrons to see these particular videos. Nobody else sees this. This is just for you now. So please leave your comments down below. It spurs along with the build. Makes me know what you're thinking of the build. Do you like the way it's been filmed? Do you like the style of it? Do you prefer the old way? Let me know what you think. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.